Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Bihari Gopi Janamalaba Idibaruna Hude Gopi Janabalaba Idibarahare Yasodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yasodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Banachagute Yamuna Tira Banachagute Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janabalaba Iri Baradhare Gopi Janabalaba Iri Baradhare Yasodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tera Banachare Yamuna Tera Banachare Jai Radha Madhava Kunya Bihari Joy Radha Madhava Kunya Bihari Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Paravidakacharya, also Teta, such as Shimad, His Divine Grace. Abhaya Chanananda Bhaktivedanta Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shidwaita Gadadha Shivasati Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopika Shaima Kunda, Radha Kunda, Giri Govardhan Ki Jai, Vrindavanam Ki Jai, Mathuram Ki Jai, Jagannath Swami Ki Jai, Yamamaya Ki Jai, Shrimati Lalasi Devi Ki Jai, Samveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Gaur Premananda Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories the assembled devotees. All glories the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Om Vishnu Padaya. Krishna Pristaya Budle Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Samani Chinamani Namaste Saraswati Devi. Gauravani Pacharni Nivashesha Nivali Paschacha Dejatari. Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. So today we are reading from the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, text 54, chapter 54, text 49. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Tasmad Jnana Jang Shokam Atma Shosha Vimohanam Tattva Jnanena Nirricha Swasta Vava Shuchi Smite Tasmad Jnana Jam Shokam Atma Shosha Vimohanam Tattva Jnanena Nirricha Swasta Bhava Shuchismate Tasmana Jnana Jang Shokam Atma Shosha Vimohanam Tattva Jnanena Nirricha Swasta Bhava Shuchismate Tasmad Jnana Jam Shokam Atma Shosha Vimohanam Tattva Jnanena Nirricha Swasta Bhava Shuchismate. Come. Nirricha Bhava Shuchismate Jnanajam Shokam Shavimohanam Tatvajnanena Niriricha Abhavashuchismite Tasmanagyanajam Shokam Atma Shosha Vimohanam Tattva Jnanena Niricha Vastabhava Shuchismite Tasmanagyanajam Shokam Atma Shosha Vimohanam Vajnanena Niricha Sabhava Shuchismite. Okay. Tasmat, therefore, Ajnana, out of ignorance, Jam, born, Shokam, the lamentation, Atma, yourself, Shocha, drying up, Vimohanam, and bewildering, Tattva, of the truth, Jnanena, with knowledge, Niricha, dispelling, Swasta, reinstated in your natural mood, Bhava, please be, Shuchi Smite, O you whose smile is pure. So, translation. Therefore, with transcendental knowledge, dispel the grief that is weakening and confounding your mind. Please resume your natural mood, O princess of the pristine smile. So please repeat. Therefore, with transcendental knowledge, dispel the grief that is weakening and confounding your mind. Please resume your natural mood, O princess of the pristine smile. So, purport by the followers of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. So, Lord Balaram reminds Queen Srimati Rukmini that she is the eternal goddess of fortune, performing pastimes with the Lord in this world, and should thus give up her so-called grief. Yeah, I'm going to read the commentaries of the acharyas on this. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments, because this is so, O smiling-faced one, be situated in your nature and reveal your natural smiling face. You should not be an ordinary material bride. And Jiva Goswami comments, both meanings are here concluded. Shosha means becoming dull. Shuchismate means O Rukmini, with a happy heart. Since you are directly Lakshmi, you cannot be touched even slightly by ignorance. However, as part of the pastimes in this world, you act in this way. Thus you have been instructed by me. And finally, Sanatana Goswami. This grief makes you tasteless, shocha, and completely bewildered, vimohanam. It destroys your intelligence completely by the knowledge presented or by being situated in your true self. Dispel this grief, O woman with a pure smile. Because of that smile, you must have a joyful heart. It is understood that actually you do not have grief. Please forgive my audacious act. O woman with a pure heart, with a pure smile, be absorbed in Krishna. Without directly stating it, he wishes to negate the boldness of his speech. So again, the verse. Tasmad agnana jam shokam atma shocha vimohanam tavagyanena near richa swasta bhava shuchi smite. So om gana timiranda shah gananjana shlakaya chakshur unmilitam yena tasmai shigave maha. So several things before we get into the topic of today's class. It's important to understand that Rukmini is not under the influence of the Mahamaya potency of the Supreme Personality of God. Of course, it's Lord Balaram is preaching to her here. And we are under, of course, speaking about myself, maybe not about all of you, but we are under the influence of the Mahamaya, external potency of the Lord. Daiviyeshi Gudamaya, Mama Maya Durachya, Mama Eva Ye Panchate. So, therefore, she is under Yoga Maya. And under Yoga Maya, it's very easy to preach to people. If you're preaching to someone under Yoga Maya. Like Krishna, of course, is preaching to Arjuna, who is under Yoga Maya, and Arjuna is apparently bewildered, just like Rukmini is apparently bewildered. And in about 40 minutes, that's it. Nashtamoha. I've forgotten my ignorance. You know, I've overcome it. I'm ready to fight Krishna. So it's a very easy process to bring someone who is under Yoga Maya to the proper consciousness. And under Yoga Maya, there's apparent suffering, like Rukmini is apparently lamenting, apparently suffering. But that suffering is ecstasy. Just like we see the suffering of the gopis when Krishna left Vrindavan. Of course, Krishna is always in Vrindavan. He never leaves Vrindavan. But he's there, aprakrita. He's there in his unmanifest form. Can't see him, but his presence is there. And the residents of Vrindavan, particularly the gopis, they're lamenting. They're crying. They can't eat. They can't sleep. And you may think, this is miserable. They're so miserable. You know, you become the greatest devotee, or you are the greatest devotees of the Lord, and you're misery? I don't think I want to be a devotee. You know, this is the example. And of course, that's brought out in the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, when Narada Muni is praising Yudhisthira and the Pandavas and calling them the greatest devotees. Of course, Narada Muni in this particular part of the Brihad Bhagavatamrita is looking for the greatest devotee of the Supreme Personality of God. And we know ultimately he comes to the gopis, that's a fact. But he comes to the Pandavas and he glorifies the Pandavas. And the Pandavas, they say that actually we're a horrible example, because anyone who hears about our pastimes, you know, we're supposedly great devotees of the Lord, and hear about all the difficulties, miseries. I mean, the Pandavas suffered so much, having their children killed, being exiled for so many years. I mean, their whole life was basically externally, it appeared to be suffering. And so Yudhisthira says, you know, we're horrible examples. You know, don't think we're the greatest devotees of the Lord. You know, and ultimately he refers Narada Muni to the Yadavas, and the Yadavas refer Narada Muni to Uddhava, and then Uddhava is able to understand that Krishna is greatest devotees of the gopis, and Narada Muni is able to understand that. But in any case, we see this apparent misery, because, you know, if I'm in anxiety, I'm depressed, I don't think I'm depressed, but if I, you know, it's just misery. It's not happiness. So we shouldn't project our mundane understanding upon these particular pastimes. So Rukmini is actually also experiencing ecstasy at the same time. The gopis are experiencing the highest ecstasy of separation. So try to understand that. And of course, Balaram is attempting to console Rukmini and wants to see her smile again. You know, you're the goddess of fortune, like that. And so this sort of preaching is very easy. It reminds me also of the pastime in the Ramayana, when we know Hanuman, when he was very young, he was cursed to forget all of his powers. It's also a Yogamaya story. He was cursed to forget all of his powers, and when they got to the shore of the ocean, and they wanted someone to reach Lanka, and none of the other monkeys had the ability to cross over the ocean and come back and reach Lanka. Hanuman had the power, but he had forgot that power. And then Jambavan just reminded him, oh, you have the power. Okay, let's go for it. Okay, but for us, it's a lot more difficult to remember our spiritual nature. Our spiritual nature is there. It's there. Sajakoranoi. I mean, it's not obtained. It is inherent. However, it takes a long time. So therefore, it's very important for us to understand, as Mother Kamalini was speaking yesterday, about knowledge and intelligence. Because these are the two factors that will help us ultimately come to understand not only understand our spiritual nature, but to realize our spiritual nature. So what I wanted to talk about today, the main topic, is, what is knowledge? What is intelligence? What causes us to lose knowledge? What causes us to lose intelligence? And how can we get intelligence? And how can we get knowledge? These are important subject matters, because oftentimes devotees are confused with the difference between intelligence and knowledge. These are two separate, interacting factors, but it's important to understand what they are. So let's talk about first what knowledge is. Of course, that's easy to understand. That's just the details. There's two types of knowledge. It's theoretical knowledge we're talking about. There's material knowledge and spiritual knowledge. So one may say, oh, I just need what? Spiritual knowledge. Forget about this material knowledge. That is not accurate. Because as we hear from the Upanishads, material knowledge, details about this material world, are necessary in order to progress in spiritual life. And I'm going to read mantra 11 from the Upanishad, Upanishad, sir. Only one who can learn the process of nescience and that of transcendental knowledge side by side can transcend the influence of repeated birth and death and enjoy the full blessings of immortality. Very, very interesting. In other words, but if we try to cultivate too much knowledge, then just try to enjoy the knowledge of this mature world, then too much of this, as Bhaktivinoda Thakur states, makes one as foolish as an ass. You understand? Makes one foolish. One just becomes like a brain ass. Because it's like, life support player that struts and frets his time upon the stage and is heard no more, as Shakespeare says. So it's just like, what is the use of all this material knowledge? But it can be used in Krishna's service. Of course, that's yukta by Radya. Just like all of us are using our material knowledge, whether it's how to use a computer, things like that. to serve Krishna. So in the Bhagavad Gita, of course, Krishna teaches both types of knowledge, uh, luminous and phenomenal, he describes in the Bhagavad Gita. So, okay, so what is spiritual knowledge? Spiritual knowledge is of three types: Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojan. That means knowledge, Sambandha, we've described this before. Sambandha, knowledge of the different tattvas and their relationship. That means the material energy, spiritual energy, Jiva soul, Supreme Personality of Godhead, like this, and the relationship between them. So, very, very important to understand these three aspects of knowledge. And of course, get to the intelligence in a second. Intelligence, of course, is the mature discriminate. All right, let's talk about what intelligence is. Intelligence is I'm going to read Prabhupada's description of intelligence. Intelligence is discrimination and how to apply it and applying that particular knowledge. So, of course, we understand from Bhagavad Gita that intelligence is one of Krishna's material energies, too. Of course, there's material intelligence as well as spiritual intelligence. Famous verse, 7-4 in Bhagavad Gita. Bhumirapo anavalo, vayu kamano bhureva chahan kaviti amme dinaprakriti ashadava. Krishna separates energies: earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and our good old ego, false ego. Anyway. And Prabhupada describes Prabhupada's definition of intelligence from the Bhagavad Gita. It's really nice. It's from a purport. Intelligence refers to the power to analyze things in their proper perspective. And knowledge refers to understanding what is spirit and what is matter. So Prabhupada here is making the distinction. In other words, you take the knowledge and then you use that to discriminate. Everybody understands? Application. Jnana vijnana. Ordinary knowledge, here Prabhupada talks about, ordinary knowledge obtained by a university education pertains only to matter, and it is not accepted here as knowledge in the same way that spiritual knowledge. Knowledge means knowing the distinction between spirit and matter. In modern education, there is no knowledge about spirit. They are simply taking care of the material elements and bodily needs. Therefore, academic knowledge is not complete. And, actually, the first time I saw Srila Prabhupada in Gainesville, Florida, in 1971, he was speaking at the University of Florida, in Gainesville, of course, and there was this place called the Plaza of the Americas. And Prabhupada had a big stage there, and Prabhupada said, very bluntly, where is the Department for Spiritual Education to study the soul? You have so many departments here in the university. Okay, so that's intelligence. But intelligence, of course, don't think that all intelligence is good, because there's material intelligence as well as spiritual intelligence. So one can be on the intelligence platform, which means controlling your senses, everything with intelligence, but still be mundane. If your intelligence is influenced by the modes of nature, and also if your intelligence is coming because of your desire, which comes from the soul, to not surrender to Krishna. So, let's talk about the modes of nature. In the Bhagavad Gita, in the 18th chapter also, we find intelligence described according to the modes of nature. So, 1830 is intelligence in the mode of goodness. One knows what is to be done, what is not to be done, what is to be feared, what is not to be feared, what is binding, and what is liberating. That's in the mode of goodness. and intelligence. So we can see, is our intelligence in the mode of goodness, or hopefully Shuddha-sattva, or is it in the mode of passion, which is that understanding which cannot distinguish between religion and irreligion, which acts between action that should be done and action that should not be done? That's in the mode of passion. And then in ignorance, that understanding which considers irreligion to be religion, and religion to be irreligion, under the spell of illusion and darkness, strives always in the wrong direction. So in passion, you just don't know what is the right thing. In ignorance, you sort of like reversed everything. You think the good things are bad, Krishna conscious things are bad, and good things for you are things that entangle you in this material world, like intoxication, etc., like that. Okay, so our intelligence depends, as I mentioned before, not only on the modes, our association, therefore Prabhupada, and actually Lord Chaitanya stated, the first quality of a Vaishnava is a satsanga cha, a Vaishnava char. That means avoiding bad association. And Prabhupada stressed so much in the beginning, if you read his notices that he put on the bulletin board in the first temple about what you should eat, you shouldn't eat food cooked by non-devotees, etc., like that. You'll see that although most of those injunctions had something to do with association, because by bad association, then our intelligence becomes polluted. So once our intelligence becomes, our desire becomes polluted, and then our intelligence, then, as we know from 15:15 in the Bhagavad Gita, Mataksmritir Jnanam Apohanam Cha, then if our desire is contaminated by bad association, then Krishna gives intelligence according to that desire, and that intelligence may cause us to become separated from Krishna. Prabhupada also said that our intelligence, the spiritual intelligence, is the next door neighbor to the spirit soul. Another statement in Bhagavatam is that the intelligence is the form direction of the super soul. That's another statement Prabhupada gave. Okay. So we've defined intelligence and knowledge. So now we're going to talk about, so how do we lose knowledge? That's very easy. Bhagavad Gita we find, what is it? Avartam Ganametena Ganino Vichavayana. Kama Rupena Kontiya. Dushparena Anatena Cha. So one's consciousness becomes covered by lust. And also, this particular verse refers both to knowledge and intelligence. How you can lose knowledge and intelligence. Jayato Vishakpum Samsam Doskesha Vijayate Sangat Sanjayate Kama. Kama Krota Vijayate. Krota Samoha. Samoha Smriti Vibram. Smriti Brahmshad. Udinasha. Udinasha. Vinashati. Which states that when we start to contemplate objects in this world, I think we're familiar with this verse. It's quite one of the first verses that everybody learns. When we contemplate sense objects, we become attached to them. And then there's lust. Avartam Ganametena Ganino Vichavayana Kama Rupena Kontiya. And of course, then we also understand from Bhagavad Gita the senses, the mind, and intelligence are the sitting places for this lust. So we're allowing lust to sit in our senses, perception, mind, and intelligence by this contemplation process. So that's the easiest way to lose knowledge and to lose intelligence. So the question is, how do we get spiritual knowledge? That's an easy one. Of course, good associates, sadhu sangha, sarva sachrakoi, lavamatra sadhu sangha, sarva siddhis. hoy, and particularly Tadvini Panipatena Pariprasna Sevya, isn't it? By approaching a spiritual personality, Divigyan Redi Prakashito, isn't it? We're chanting this. So by accepting knowledge from the descending process, rather than ascending process, rather than induction, we use the descending process, and then we can also use deduction to understand things in this world from there. And from the Shastras, Guru, Sadhu, Shastra, like that. So that's how we get spiritual knowledge. And we protect it by being very careful with our association. Because if we're not careful, we can lose it. Right? Because we're conditioned souls. I mean, not speaking to all of you, of course. Conditioned souls. So then the question is, how do we lose intelligence? We already described. Hope we get to how to get intelligence. Anyway, so how do we lose intelligence? Same verse, Jayata Vishal, etc., like that. Also in 267 in the Gita, it corroborates that fact. As a strong wind sweeps away a boat on the water, even one of the roaming senses on which the mind focuses can carry away a man's intelligence. Wow. So you have to be really careful to control. I mean, the example given in the Bhagavad Gita is like a tortoise. Whenever there's danger, you have to withdraw your senses. I mean, of course, what that means practically is that, not that you need to close your eyes each time you're walking by something that may be attractive and then run into the wall. That would be a little dangerous. But think of Krishna, chant Hare Krishna. You know, somehow or other, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. It pulls the mind back. Okay? And so, then, how to get intelligence? Very interesting. More verses, of course. Tesham satadiyutanam bhajatam pritipurvatam dadami buddhi yogam. There's that buddhi again. Buddhi, of course, means intelligence. Dadami buddhi yogam tam yenamam upiyanti te. By serving with devotion, with the right intention, with the right sankalpa. Again, you know, sankalpa, intention. If your intention, desire, is not right, you will get impure intelligence because of this factor, mata, mritya, yanama poanam cha. Sabrasha chaham riti sanavishta, because Krishna is in the heart. So you really have to focus your sankalpa, your desire, your objective, if you want to get the right intelligence. And Prabhupada gives another, just another angle of vision on what intelligence is and how to get intelligence, proper spiritual intelligence. A strong faith, this is Prabhupada's commentary on this famous verse, Yavasayatmika Buddhir Ekeha. A strong faith that by Krishna consciousness one will be elevated to the highest perfection of life is called Vyavasayatmika intelligence. And the way to get the, Prabhupada talks about this, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila 22:62 states another famous verse, Shraddha Shabde Vishva Shakahe Sudrida Nishya Krishna Bhakti Kala Sarva Karma Krita Hoy. In other words, to have that faith, you know, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami defines faith as that firm conviction that doing what Krishna wants and also having the objective to serve Krishna will accomplish everything. That's spiritual intelligence. Interesting, this definition of spiritual intelligence. Simply serving Krishna, pleasing Krishna, according to the directions of Krishna's representatives, then everything is accomplished. And that's Yavasyatmik, one-pointed Yavasyatmika Buddha. Ekeha Kurunandana. And one who doesn't think like that, then you're thinking, well, yeah, I want to be a devotee, want to please Krishna. All right, a little bit here. But, I have to please this person and that person. So, very, very interesting, Prabhupada's definition. So, what does that mean for us right now, where we are? Talking about intelligence, we just have a few more minutes in class. Is that we need to use that intelligence that we're given by Krishna by having the right desire to control the senses and control our activities as described in the Nectar of Instruction, which means Vacho Vegam, Manasakroda Vegam, Jiva Vegam, Udara Vegam, Pashta Vegam, which means that we have to tolerate the pushings and the pullings that will occur due to the body we have, due to, subtle influences, whatever, tongue, again, tongue, belly, genital, mind, anger, and words. That's what it means. Intelligence means to know the right thing to do to please Krishna. We're talking about spiritual intelligence right now. And to tolerate whatever else and push, because this was talked about, to push through these pushings of the mind, the pushings of the senses, whatever, and conquer the sensational, enemy known as lust, and all these other impediments that may be there. So this is actually the proper application of intelligence for us. So, any questions or comments? I think Krishna just made a comment. You're finished.
Purusham Namaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Namaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Namaham Bhajami Samasitam Buddha Sundaram Kandar Agom Vidamaniya Vishesha Shobha Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Namaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Namaham Bhajami Angani Yasa Sakale Priya Priti Manti Pasyanti Panti Kayanti Chiram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adi Purusham Amaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Amaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Namaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Namaham Bhajami
Govindam. Namaho Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pistaya Bhutale Shimate Bhakti Vedanta Samminiti Namande Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Vacha Nege Visesha Shunyavati Matsya Jagante Satarane Saraswati Deve Gauravani Vacha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Radhana Shiva Sade Gaurmata Vrinda Krishna Chaitanya Shri Advaita Shiva Sade Gaurmata Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Radhana Shiva Sade Gaurmata Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Radhana Shiva Sade Gaurmata Vrinda Nana Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Goti Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Nayarat, Agolokinana, Golokinana, Tagade. Nayarat, Agolokinana, Agolokinana, Tagade. Nayarat, hey! Radhe, Radhe, hey, Radhe, Jai Radhe, Jai Radhe. Jai Om.
Atavagni Nirvamanam Shreya Kairavya Chandrika Vitaranam Vijavadu Jivanam Haribo. No, thank you for the pizza. Sarvatmasnapanam Paramvijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatrapitani Amita Smaranena Kala Etadrishita Vakripa Bhagavan Mamapi Dordaiva Midrishami Hajjani Nanuraga Trinadapi Sunichena, or page 12. Amani Namanadena Kirtaniya Sadahari Nadanam Najanam Nasundarim Kavitam Vajagadisha Kamae Mama Janmani Janmani Ishvare Bhavatad Bhaktir Ohaitaki Twai Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitam Mam Vishame Bhavam Buddha Kribhayata Vapada Pankaja Stita Duli Sadrishim Vichintaya Nayanam Gadadashu Daraya Varanam Gad Gadarudaya Gira Pulakarnishitam Vapukada Tavanamagrahane Bhavishyati Yugayatam Namishena Chakshusha Pravashayatam Shunayatam Jagat Sarvam Govindam Virahename Ashlishava Padamadam Rastumam Adarshanam Marmahata Karotuva Yatatatava Vidadatulam Pato Matranatastusa Eva Napara. Victory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life, of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. O my Lord, congregational chanting of your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you've invested all your transcendental energies. They're not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw on the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth. O Son of Arjuna and Krishna, I am your eternal servitor, yet somehow I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. Oh, my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up, and when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name? Oh, Govinda, feeling your separation, I'm considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so, even if he handles me roughly by his embrace, or may broken heart by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he's always my worshipful Lord, unconditionally.